Why is Sanatan Dharma called mythology? The story behind one controversial word. Curivault opening. The vault is open. Imagine someone describes one of the world's oldest living traditions using a single word: mythology. It sounds ordinary. After all, we say Greek mythology, Norse mythology, and Egyptian mythology. So why does the very same word spark debate when it's used for Sanatan Dharma? Is mythology simply another word for ancient tradition? Or has the meaning of that word changed over time? Because perhaps the biggest mystery isn't Sanatan Dharma itself. It's the word we've been using to describe it. Today, we're opening the vault on one of history's most misunderstood labels. And by the time this vault closes, you may never hear the word mythology the same way again. For most people today, the word myth has only one meaning: something that never happened, a made-up story. But that's not where the word began. It comes from the ancient Greek word mythos, which simply meant a traditional story passed from one generation to another. As scholars studied civilizations across the world, they grouped these traditional narratives under one academic category: mythology. That's why universities teach Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology, Norse mythology, and Hindu mythology. In academic study, the word isn't automatically a judgment about truth or falsehood. It's a way of classifying traditional narratives. But language doesn't stand still. Over centuries, everyday usage changed. Outside classrooms, myth slowly became another word for fiction. And that's where today's confusion begins, because one word now carries two completely different meanings. If the confusion comes from language, why does the debate continue? Part of the answer lies in history. When European scholars documented India's past during the colonial period, they often relied on methods familiar to them: written chronicles, dated records, and chronological timelines. Ancient India preserved knowledge differently, through oral traditions, sacred texts, temple inscriptions, astronomical observations, festivals, and practices that survived across generations. These were different ways of preserving memory. That doesn't automatically prove every ancient event happened exactly as described. Nor does it mean these traditions should simply be dismissed as fiction. Many scholars recognize that ancient texts often combine history, philosophy, symbolism, ethics, and spiritual inquiry. Perhaps the real question isn't whether they belong to one category. Perhaps it's whether one category is enough. That question becomes even more interesting when archaeology enters the conversation. Take Dwarka. Ancient traditions describe it as the kingdom associated with Lord Krishna, a city later said to have disappeared beneath the sea. For centuries, many viewed it only as tradition. Then underwater explorations off the coast of Gujarat revealed ancient structures, stone anchors, and evidence of an old maritime settlement. Do these discoveries prove every detail found in the texts? No. Archaeology cannot verify every event described in an epic, but it does remind us that ancient traditions can preserve memories of real places. The same discussions continue around Kurukshetra, Hastinapur, and Ayodhya, where archaeological research has revealed long histories of human occupation. History is rarely as simple as choosing between completely true and completely false. Sometimes, the past is far more complex. And perhaps that's why Sanatan Dharma refuses to fit neatly into a single label. The Vedas, the Upanishads, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata. These are more than stories. They ask questions that remain relevant even today. What is duty? What is consciousness? What makes an action right or wrong? How should power be used? These ideas have shaped philosophy, literature, art, mathematics, astronomy, architecture, and daily life for thousands of years. That is one reason many scholars describe Sanatan Dharma not only as a religion, but also as one of the world's oldest living philosophical traditions. Its influence extends far beyond any single definition. So, why is Sanatan Dharma called mythology? The answer depends on which meaning of the word you choose. In academic scholarship, mythology is often a neutral term for the traditional narratives that help define a civilization. In everyday conversation, however, many people hear the same word and think fiction. Those meanings are not identical. And much of today's debate exists because they are often confused. Perhaps the real lesson isn't about accepting or rejecting one label. It's about understanding what that label actually means. Because civilizations are rarely captured by a single word. And perhaps the greatest mystery was never Sanatan Dharma itself. It was how one misunderstood word quietly changed the conversation. Curivault closing. The vault is closing. But before it does, remember this. Words don't merely describe history. Sometimes, they shape the way future generations understand it. The deeper we explore the past, the more we discover that the most important answers begin with better questions. If this story made you see this debate from a new perspective, let us know your thoughts respectfully in the comments. And if you enjoy uncovering history's greatest mysteries, subscribe to Curivault, because every answer opens another vault. And when the vault opens again, we'll uncover another mystery together. Until then, stay curious.